it's your girl Adeola. So every now and then I like to talk about countries that are doing really well so that we can learn from them. A lot of times I will talk about Dubai. You guys know what Dubai used to be before it became what it is today, and now a lot of Nigerians are going to Dubai, even buying houses in Dubai. But today I want us to take a look at Israel, a country of 8 million people. Remember, we are 180 million. They are a country of 8 million people, and I like to talk about the successes. You know, they became a country in 1948, and just to look at what they've done for themselves. First of all, 60% of the land in Israel is desert. But by using technology and different things, today Israel is one of the world's leading greenhouse food exporters, as in they make billions of dollars every year exporting food to other countries. They literally turned a desert into green land. Israel also recycles 90% of its wastewater. 90% of its wastewater. There is no other country doing this. As a matter of fact, that is 4 times more than any other country in the world. So when you flush the toilet, whatever you do with water, when you wash your clothes, they are able to recycle this water and reuse it. They even figured out how to get larger crop yields while using less water.
Drip irrigation saves a lot of water, producing more, getting more, yet not harming the environment.
Now that's insane, using less water and getting bigger crops. And remember, I said it's a country of 8 million people, but guess what? Their GDP is 300 billion. Now Nigeria is a country of 180 million people, and our GDP is 481 billion. Do you guys see the difference? 8 million people, 300 billion. Our own 180 million people, 481 billion. Now, to be fair, I know that the US sends them a lot of money in aid, and also a lot of Jewish people outside of Israel, they send money back home for the government to use to develop Israel and also to develop the lives of the people there. Many of them are looking forward to moving back to Israel someday, so they are sending in money to develop their land. I hope that we can also get there where the people will trust the government in power enough to be sending a lot of money to say, use this to sponsor people in so town. You know what I mean? Anyway, so their GDP is 300 billion, and also their medical team is regarded arguably as the best in the world. As a matter of fact, World Health Organization ranks their Defense Forces Hospital as the best in the world. They make $6.5 billion exporting pharmaceuticals. You guys know they export drugs, medicines, all kinds of stuff. They also make like $4 billion every year exporting medical technical equipment to other countries. Now, they also have the best weapons in the Middle East. In fact, they supply sophisticated military equipment to the US and to Europe, and they make $6.5 billion every year exporting military equipment. As a matter of fact, more than 60% of drones worldwide come from Israel. Israel even has its own Silicon Valley. You know, that's where all these tech companies like they have in California. I understand that we also have one in Yaba, where a lot of tech companies are springing up in Lagos, Nigeria. So they have their own Silicon Valley. They call it Silicon Wadi, and it is now the second largest technical startup ecosystem in the whole world. It has more startups per capita than anywhere else, and they have 61 companies on the Nasdaq. That is the online trading platform for mostly tech shares, and that is more than Europe, Japan, Korea, and China combined. And they make all kinds of cool stuffs in Israel, including electric cars, and also they have all kinds of cell phones that they make in Israel. They even make TVs that you can control without using remote control. You can use your hand. All these big companies like Yahoo, Google, they all have big offices in Israel. And let's not forget, their transportation system is also phenomenal. Of course, they have regular trains connecting cities to cities and towns to towns, but they also have like beautiful light rails. Some call it monorails, which takes people from one spot to another in the same city. So their transportation is really top notch in Israel. And it doesn't stop there. Israel now has the largest diamond trade industry in the whole world, even more than that of Dubai. They have 5 diamond banks in Israel with more than 20,000 employees, that is at their Israeli office, and more than 50,000 employees worldwide working for this diamond industry. And I'm very sure that you guys know all these things that I just talked about regarding Israel, but you you know what I did not know until now? Baba, I'm telling you, information is very powerful. I had no idea that there is an organization in Israel that teaches people from different parts of the world how they are doing everything that is making Israel the powerful nation that it is today. I'm saying that representatives from more than 160 countries and also individuals who want to do stuff on their own, they go to Israel to this organization which is called Galilee Institute in order to learn how they do the agriculture in Israel. You know how they are able to use less water to have bigger crops. They learn how they recycle water. I just told you that they recycle 90% of their water. So people are going there to learn how they recycle water. They are teaching these people how they can plan the transportation system in their cities. They teach the urban capacity building, maritime industry, national security, disaster management, and they even teach people the secrets to the economic development in Israel, as well as health management skills, advanced information and communication technology, education management, conflict studies, and so much more. That's all they do at this institute in Israel. I had no idea. And then they offer trainings in English, in French, Portuguese, Spanish, Russian, Arabic. I was so impressed. Now, the crazy thing is that they don't just train people. When people are done with the training in Israel, and there are some trainings that only last for weeks, when people are done with this training and you go back to your country and you want to implement what you've learned and they see that you're serious about making a change back home, they travel to your country to supervise your project and to work with you for weeks in order to make sure that your project doesn't fail until they know that you can stand on your own, and then they leave you, they go back to their country. I heard that when one of their students started the hospital, upon arrival back to his country, that they sent doctors to help train and also work with his doctors for weeks before they left to go back to Israel. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? And what I love mostly about this organization is that they're also promoting peace between Israel and Palestine. You guys know that there is a tension between Israel and Palestine, but they have all kinds of programs geared towards promoting peace between Israel and Palestine. So I really admire that. I only found out about this institute a few weeks ago thanks to Dr. Baba Adams. He's one of the board members of Kara Foundation. Because of him, I had the privilege of meeting the president of this institute, that is Dr. Chevelle, as well as the director of international development, that is Mikhail Mizrahi. So I got to meet them when they came to New York, and the president was telling me that they just signed a new contract with the president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, for them to train people from Kenya. They are giving scholarship to these people to come and learn in Israel, and these people will go back to implement whatever they learn to transform Kenya. Already, the Kenyans that had been trained by this organization, there are so many of them that are already doing big things in the medical field, for example. Now, this video that I'm about to show you, this man is the head of the nurses. I'm so excited to see that Kenya decided to send him for training. They didn't say, oh, we have to send the people at the top, we have to send the doctor. No, because now he went back and is making a difference.
We receive up to 450 patients per day in our accident and emergency department. It makes it the biggest referral hospital south of the Sahara. When I came back from Galilee, what we did is just to introduce the concept of triaging with the resources which we already have with us. And for sure, such method has helped quite a number of patients who could have lost their lives.
And also, let me show you one more video of another of their graduates working in the agriculture field as well.
2 years after my training in Israel, we opened the door and we started to produce tissue culture bananas. This is the first commercial biotech company in Tanzania. I was alone when I came to Israel, but that knowledge is reaching now the millions. It's changing the life of fellow Tanzanians.
And it's not just Kenya. Rwanda is sending a lot of people to go for training at this institute. And the same goes for Ghanaians. A lot of Ghanaians are going back after training to work in Ghana and to transform lives in Ghana. You guys can find more success stories on their YouTube channel, the Galilee Institute. In fact, people go from the US, they go from China, from so many other developed countries in order to learn from them. I'm not even surprised about that because I remember in 2014, during a severe drought in California. The governor of California sought help from the Israeli prime minister in order for them to overcome the water scarcity in California. And then Colorado did the same thing, Nevada did the same thing, and many other states in the US, they're learning from Israel. So the president of the institute told me that day that they don't give scholarship to people that are coming from developed countries like US, China, Canada. They don't give them scholarships because those are developed countries, but they give scholarship to students that are coming from developing countries, especially if you're coming from Africa. So all you have to do is pay for your flight ticket to and fro, as well as your living expenses. You will be living on their campus, but you will pay them for the house where you would stay. I'm really hoping that individuals and government bodies can take advantage of these trainings. I was really surprised when he said that more than 2,300 Nigerians had already graduated, including Assistant Commissioner of Police, Mr. Frank Umba, the Director of Finance at Sokoto State Ministry of Finance, Mr. Badamasi Gaba, and of course our Health Minister, Professor Adeola, just to name a few. If you're one of the graduates, please share with me what you did when you went back to Nigeria, because I'm not seeing much of that online. I'm sure that people are doing stuff. At least he told me about someone that went back and started the hospital. At the same time, I know that sometimes we would only send senior staff. Even if the junior staff is more eager to make a difference, we like to play politics. We are hindering ourselves, we are hindering our progress, because most of the times these Oga people, when they come back, they don't do anything. And I've also seen people who learned great skills abroad, and upon return, they want to change lives. But people back home would say, so you think that because you traveled abroad, you can now come and tell the rest of us how to do our jobs? It's so sad, but that is the reality. Sometimes that happens, a lot of times actually that happens, and it is killing us. I think we need this, especially the agricultural training in northern part of Nigeria, because the desert keeps encroaching in northern parts of Nigeria, and if they are able to produce huge crops in deserts, then maybe we can learn one or two things from them. Now, I have a good news for Nigerians, because this institute is partnering with the Nigerian government to give 500 scholarships every year to Nigerian senior officials and planners who want to come for training. I'm also excited to hear that, although I personally don't think that it should be limited to senior officials, because we have a lot of young people that are talented and ready to change the world in Nigeria. So if you have a way of reaching out to the government in your state, do so. The government can sponsor you, and also the government can pay for your flight and your living expenses so that you can go and learn skills that can change the country. And if it doesn't work that way and you're interested in going for training, reach out to the institute. Maybe they can link you with the government in your state, I don't know. And also maybe you have a company or you have a school and you like to get some training, because they do all kinds of trainings at this institute also on education, or you want to start a hospital back home. I would advise that you reach out to them, especially if you can afford the training and you don't need anybody to sponsor you, or maybe they can even recommend you to the government to sponsor you. And lastly, if you're a politician and you want your state to develop, maybe you're a senator, take advantage of this training. Sponsor people that are working with you to go and learn how they are doing everything that they're doing in Israel. Not that for you to duplicate what they are doing, but for us to use whatever could work for us. Of course, I have to go for training someday. There are so many things that I would like to learn, and no, they did not pay me to do this. They didn't pay me to talk about this. Nobody pays me to talk about whatever I talk about on this show. I'm only talking about it because I believe so much in the power of information, because you guys just never know, maybe one or two people can use this information that I'm sharing today. So please make sure that you check out this institute. You guys now don't know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real.